Good night, everybody. Good night. Super good to be here with you on the AK Roundtable. It is December 11th, 2024. I was out last week, but we had our good friend Matthias, my co-host that's usually on with me, who took care of last week's meeting. So it was great to have you on, have you there, Matthias. I know you're not on tonight, but you watched the recordings, and the recording was fantastic. It was a really great meeting. So let's continue to share, collaborate, and of course, spill positivity and strength into these meetings so that we can continue to grow the futures that we desire. If we can get one good takeaway or two good takeaways at each one of the roundtables, then I think that we probably are ahead of the game versus not at all. Who here is a big believer in community? Raise your hand if you're a big believer in community working together. Yeah. I know that that's our mindset for sure. So together, everyone achieves more, as the acronym says for team. So yeah, it's great to be here with you guys again. I know that we're going to be rounding off the 2024 year. It's just around the corner, and lots of great things ahead in 2025. Raise your hand if you're excited about 2025 as a year ahead. Yeah, everybody happy with what's on the horizon. I think that there's some excitement for small business and excitement for us to get after it and really have a fantastic year. Just a couple housekeeping items. Down at the very bottom, you'll see that there's a chat window. You can click chat down at the very bottom. You can chat with people individually or as a whole team. You can also use the react button. You can put your hand up or do any of those things as we start to get, we've got 14 people on live, but as we start to get 25 or 30 people on here, it can get pretty crazy if everybody comes off mute. If you guys don't mind using that reaction button or just sticking your hand up, that's helpful in keeping a well-organized meeting and getting the most out of it. There is structure to the meeting. We go through wins and positive things that are going on in business as the start out in the meeting. Then we'll go into some inspiration, some great success stories that are rocking and rolling, and then of course opening it up to questions and having just an engaging full meeting about how we can answer questions. I often say the only silly question is the one unasked. So please do not sit there with a question that's pondering and not ask it. Let's get it out. That chat window is a great spot for it, but also coming on live on cameras, fine too, or audio. The more that you're on video, the more engaging the meeting gets. If you stay on off meeting, that's totally fine as well. But most importantly, please be safe if you're in your vehicles. We do not want you staring at a screen when you're in vehicles. Dan Leotoad, brother, just be safe on the road. That's all that matters for us. So yeah, let's get this party started. Let's go with the wins. Who has some wins since last week, over the last 7 days? Any wins for anyone out there at all that you'd like to share with the team?
Hey, Judd, my name is Greg Parker. I'm new to this. Thanks for putting this together. I actually just found you on Instagram yesterday, but I just started up my business. I haven't even had, I actually just got, I closed 2 today. I'll start in January. I just wanted to chime up and let you know I'm here, and I'll be attending every Wednesday, but looking forward to learning from this.
Fantastic. Welcome to the roundtable and the community, Greg. We are here for you, man. And just, the main thing, we just celebrated our 22nd business anniversary, and we just hosted a really fun retreat down in the Caribbean, as well as some of you may know. But the mission is to work together, man. How can we all really build some great success together and have fun doing it at the same time, right? So that's the key. Yeah.
Agree.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We're here for you. Anything you need, just let us know. Any other wins? I know that Dan, Zach, you've got a win. Did you just come off mute?
I did. Yeah.
Let's go.
I'm getting a bid. I'm getting a bid, the biggest lot I've ever got to bid for seal coating and crack seal. It's 140,000 square foot. So I'm pretty excited about that. And it all comes from a relationship that I've already had. All it took was thinking a little bit. And I just asked. It's with another contractor. They do sweeping, parking lot sweeping, and I was like, "Hey, do you know do you have a contact with this parking lot owner? She's like, yeah, we sweep it once a month. I was like, well, it needs to be sealed and striped. And she's like, well, let me ask. An hour later, she's like, yeah, they're ready to take a bid for it. So I'm like, man, that's awesome. I'm excited about it.
What kind of
Congrats.
property is it, Zach?
It's like a strip center, so it's got multiple businesses in it.
What is the, have you spoken to the person responsible for the pavement assets at that commercial plaza?
I have not directly, no, just the sweeper that does
Got
their
it.
lot.
And does the sweeper want to be the, want to manage that project, or do they just want to refer it right over and connect the dots and have you essentially be the self-performer?
It sounds like she probably wants to be responsible for the project.
Wants to sub you in for it?
Mm-hmm.
Got it. That's some important pieces there. And have you seen, you've gone over the complete lot physically, you've walked it, you've assessed it?
Yeah, well, I just did a quick drive through yesterday,
Cool.
but I did drive through it and look at it.
What do you think the most important, I know it's very early, but what do you think the most important factor in them making their decision to get this project done from a property owner or property management perspective? What's the most important deciding factor? Is it safety? Is it budget? Is it the longevity of the pavement? Is it the aesthetics? What do you think is the most important to them?
If I had to just guess off the top of my head, it's a complete guess, I would say budget, but I'm not sure. I've reached out to the person responsible before and couldn't get an answer when I tried. So, which is why I went through my contact that I know that sweeps it.
Be an interesting question to ask the partner you're going to be working with. Ask if the client has ever received a pavement assessment on that property. I'm not talking about a proposal or a quote, but a pavement assessment.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a really important part of warming the sales process up. So a pavement assessment would be really, really important. And just as a side note, Zach, you're on AK Dash, are you not?
I am.
Yeah, so the pavement assessment module in AK Dash, if we need, what level are you on? Are you on Boss, Big Boss, or King Boss?
King Boss.
Yeah, so the pavement assessment module that's built into Dash, a part of your program, you can build pavement assessments right through there. I strongly urge that you do that. Assign a PACER rating to it, get some really good photos and a video walkthrough of that lot, and literally provide that that report card for the pavement as a give, because you'll actually be able to provide that to the sweeping partner, and the sweeping partner could actually provide it to their client, where you can have a customer portal where that customer can log in and actually see what's going on inside of a digital platform like AK Dash. So if you need help with that, reach out to Mackie or Dylan Malone and we'll get you set up. But that pavement assessment, for everyone on here, pavement assessments are like, it's like a teaser, man. Make sure you're doing some assessments. If somebody's asking for a quote, like, just give me a bid and I want to get this deal moving forward, then you may rush the quote and getting that into their hand to get the money moving into the bank. But if you have a little bit longer of a sales cycle and you want to differentiate from the majority of companies out there, pavement assessments is a step in your conversion process that a lot of people just miss, and they should be adding them in. Any questions on pavement assessments while we're chatting about this?
Yeah. How are you? Good evening.
I'm sorry?
Hello. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. And you?
Good. My name is Silvio Arguello. I'm trying to start a new business in the South Florida area.
Great.
And this is the first time I'm in the round table.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah, that's a golden nugget, by the way, everyone. If you're not doing, who here has heard of a pavement assessment before? For those of you in the industry, raise your hand if you're familiar with what a pavement assessment is. Okay. And for those of you that are not in the industry or just getting involved with the industry or maybe just getting started or whatever it is, a pavement assessment is really, really important. You need to learn that.
Is that like a
Right.
work?
So a pavement assessment, I want you to imagine that let's just use an analogy here, an example. Imagine you go to Mayo Clinic. Everyone familiar with Mayo Clinic?
Yes.
Okay, let's say that we go to Mayo Clinic. You said you're in Florida, South Florida. So let's just think that we're going to Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, Florida, okay? Because there's a Mayo Clinic there. We actually serviced their pavement like 15 years ago. But anyway, Mayo Clinic, you go for an executive medical exam. And when you go in for that executive medical exam, what are they going to do? They're going to review everything to do with all the important things to give you your report relating to your medical condition of yourself. Please note that it's not a quotation, it's a medical report. So I want you to think of a pavement assessment as a medical report or a medical evaluation for yourself. That's the analogy. It's like a report card for the parking lot. And what we're trying to do with the pavement assessment is we're trying to identify where it is in its life cycle stage. We'll do some core samples. We'll go ahead and make sure that we give it a PACER rating. We want to also provide information around liability risks on the lot, tripping hazards, things that are important to call out that a facility manager or property manager or an owner may not know about, right? Think about catch basins, guys. You guys are all familiar with catch basins on a parking lot, right? Think about the number of tripping hazards that could be right in front of you on those catch basins. It's really important that you guys do a thorough pavement assessment, which is what I call the give to the client. It's the soft sell. It's building the relationships so they know, like, and trust you. And now you have the opportunity to then move it into a quote as the next stage in your pipeline. So I want you to think sales qualified lead, pavement assessment, quotation, closed won, closed lost in your pipeline. Raise your hand if you followed me on that one. Sales qualified lead first, that's the stage in your pipeline. Pavement assessment, you want to move a sales qualified lead to a pavement assessment stage in your pipeline. Then you want to take the pavement assessment and convert it into a quote that actually has monetary values on it with scopes of work and pricing. And then you want to take your quote that you've got into them and you want to move that to a closed won or closed lost stage. Obviously, closed won is what we're all more excited about. You guys good with that?
Mm-hmm.
Pavement assessment.
So is an assessment is like an inspection?
So pavement assessment's like a medical report. It has no pricing on it. It's an assessment. So you're going to review it. It's like giving a report card about their parking lot, where it is in its life cycle stage, what liability risks are present, drainage effectiveness, and how the parking lot looks, ADA compliancy. So yes, to answer your question, it is not a quotation.
No. I meant
assessment.
I meant an inspection. Like a
You're inspecting it. You're inspecting the lot in order to assess it so that you can give feedback to the property owner, facility manager, property owner about their lot. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Inside AK Dash, we have a whole pavement assessment module that we've built for this specific purpose on being able to create digital pavement assessments that you can then deliver as part of your pipeline stages that we have inside AK Dash. It's a very important stage.
Is AK Dash available on, how do I get to AK Dash?
Just go to akdash.com and you'll see there's free trial 14 days and you'll get right on, and then we'll do a one-on-one demo with you, walk you through the whole platform. But it's developed by myself and other people in the industry that accumulate over 100 years worth of experience and hundreds of millions of dollars worth of sales. So it's one you probably want to check out. There's some really important pieces of AK Dash that differentiate from just a standard QuickBooks or some kind of a job or proposal system. Yeah.
Cool.
We now have AI also built into it for call answering services and all that stuff too. Scheduling.
I use that. I set that up today or demoed it. That thing was pretty awesome, I gotta say.
Cool. Yeah, it's interesting. Like right now we're making, You know, we're making 500 to 600 calls a day from our company right now, and to top of funnel, you know, paving companies and concrete companies and everything. And I'll tell you guys, like 96 of the calls that we make hit some kind of a funky voicemail or no connection at all. So I want you guys to think about the fact that the market share is there for you guys to grab if you just answer your phone. Like, just answer the phone. Legitimately. Yeah. Most people in the service-based industry, and I'm generalizing right here, just don't answer the phone. Straight up. People get busy, man. Phones in the pocket, on vibrate or whatever it is, hands-on tools, etc. Right? So it's important to have someone that's taking care of that for you, and picking up those calls is important.
How do you have a lead program?
We actually have a prospect program that we've launched inside AK Dash now, where we do your prospecting for you, and we actually enter prospects right into your AK Dash platform in the lead section of your pipeline. Those are prospects. We're not actually doing the outbound calls for you, but we're doing the prospecting to find the right kind of account-based targets that we're looking to hit, that are your types of customers that you're looking to ultimately convert to get you to your revenue goal associated with your revenue roadmap inside AK Dash. Yeah, we're moving things end to end. We want to help you guys achieve from, like, literally from soup to nuts, man, like everything. Yeah. It's time. 22 years, guys, we've been doing this, man. It's no fun selling equipment and supplies. We want to provide business solutions and make sure we're helping everybody succeed as much as we can. And if we're not doing it, just do it, right? So, like, we'll teach you, we'll show you, we'll give you the resources, we'll give it all for free, we'll teach you in the videos. Just get it done, though, one way or another. If you're not gonna hire someone to do the special things that need to get done to get you to where you want to go, then you just need to do it. That's it.
Normally, once you make a quote, a formal proposal, how many business are closed?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? I missed that.
Yes, normally, once you make a formal proposal with pricing, how many business are closed? How many contracts?
Oh, the conversion rate on the contracts? Yeah, so right now, industry standard's running from 20 to 30%, industry standard. So, you know, if you wanted to build $1 million, I'll just do some quick math for you. If you wanted to build $1 million business, you've got to close 12 and a half $85,000 jobs, which means that you have to put out 50 $85,000 proposals. That's if you're more in the paving or large commercial seal coating and maintenance niche. That's the math. 50 proposals, 25% conversion is 12 and a half jobs, 85,000 each. Let's make $1 million. Let's go ahead and make 40% on our bottom line, and that's how we walk away with 400 grand in our pocket at the end of the year. That's some quick math for you. If you wanted to do 2 million, we could do that math too. But the reality of it is, the majority of people in our industry and building small businesses don't understand what a revenue roadmap is and what you need to action in order to achieve that end result. But yeah, to answer your question, 20 to 30% conversion rate on your proposals.
And is it the markup is always like a 30 or 40%, or is it higher?
No, it's much higher, man. So, like, if you're getting into asphalt repairs, like crack sealing and pothole patching, and then that, it can be 65%, 70%. You know what I mean? If you get into seal coating, I generally say I wouldn't touch anything with a 10-foot pole unless I had 50% margin on any of the stuff that I was doing personally. Like, Matt Phillips, can you come off mute for a second? What kind of gross margin are you running with right now?
We run around the 60%. Yeah, so 60% markup, and do pretty well with that.
In what area are
That's
you
$1
working?
million. That's $1 million business in Utah, by the way.
I'm in southern Utah.
Okay, and you sell over $1 million a year.
For 6 months of work, yeah, we run 6 months out of the year.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Cool. That was a good win. That was a good win. Thanks, Matt. Cool. Good questions too. Any other from that, cascading from that, because that was an interesting part, going assessments, proposals, getting into some conversion rates. Let's stem some conversation here. I think that the way to get deeper on this meeting is asking some really important questions. So why don't you guys think about, feel free to come out on the board or think about a really important question that maybe you want to have answered here tonight.
Normally a hole on a parking lot, because today I had a meeting with some other people from Asphalt Kingdom, and we were talking about what's the average depth of a hole in a parking lot. 2 inches, 3 inches, half an inch?
You mean the actual patch that you're going to lay, or the average hole, like the actual tripping hazard you're dealing with?
No, when you do an assessment or an inspection, what's the average hole? How deep is it?
Man, I'm looking for anything that's a 1/4 inch. That could be a stiletto high heel or a tripper, right? Like if you look at something that's a 1/4 inch, that's a tripping hazard, man. And it depends where you are, depends what state. But my recommendation in Florida is just use good old fashioned Chat GPT and do some searching around that. Or just reach out to your municipality and ask them what kind of, I mean, there is literally, you know, you're going to have businesses, and I don't know what it is in Florida, but I know in California, man, you're going to get citations, and businesses literally are going to be in big crap if they have tripping.
The reason why I ask is because I was getting help preparing my first proposal, and I did an assessment, and I took a whole bunch of pictures.
Great.
And they asked me, but how deep is that hole? And I wasn't expecting that question.
Yeah, who asked you how deep was the hole? One of our team members at AK?
Yes, one of your team members.
Yeah, I would say that, you know, anything that's a tripping hazard. I want you to think about a lady or a man that's walking, you know, think about somebody who's in their 90s walking with a cane, and, you know, is that person going to fall and break their jaw? You know? And I'm sorry to build that image, but I want us to realize too the responsibility that we have to call out the things that could be liabilities, that people could trip and fall and end up with some damage. I mean, I've heard of people, guys, being in the industry for a long time. I've got some horrific, really shitty stories that I'm not going to share here with you tonight, but my mission is to get you guys to really hunt all of those liabilities, those risks that are out there, and bring it to the attention of the facility owner, the facility manager, the property manager, or the property owner. Bring that forward in a pavement assessment format to explain that there are safety challenges here on this lot, and our responsibility as a pavement professional is to bring that forward. And yeah, we'd love to take care of that for you too, and build a relationship for life.
Okay, I have 2 more questions real quick. And what's the normal rate for labor?
So it depends what kind of labor we're talking about. Depends on the project, right? If you want to have guys that are self-performing out in the Florida range, you know, you'll probably be anywhere from $20 to $35 an hour, realistically, in that range.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is my first project, and it is a 220,000 square feet. It's pretty big. So, you know, I have asked several times because I don't want to make any mistakes.
Yeah. So I personally, if I was in your shoes, have you already purchased equipment?
No.
So I would personally link up with a performance partner that's really experienced in the industry, that we have connections with. I have some really great connections in Florida. I just hosted a retreat down at our hotel in the Caribbean. We had somebody who I know very, very well, good friend of ours, and runs a big asphalt pavement management business out of Central Florida. That's a big project. I wouldn't necessarily go self-perform on a project of that caliber. If I was just starting out, I would have it subcontracted out to a performance partner, or just hand it over and taking a commission off of the top line. That's another opportunity.
And if you subcontract somebody like you just mentioned, how do you split the profit, the margin?
I think in this particular scenario, you're going to get do you have your company formed, and are you insured? You're ready to rock and roll?
Yes, that's no problem. I'm in the roofing.
Got it. But are you insured for are you insured for it as well, for asphalt?
No, not yet.
Okay, so if you wanted to just have a really easy handoff, you would hand the baton off to somebody like my buddy Justin, who could literally execute on a project like that, and he would pay you a referral fee right off top line relating to that. It wouldn't necessarily be profit if you wanted to do it that way. If you wanted to GC it, that's a different story. You'd have to go, as you know, you'd have to go get your insurance set up and get all those pieces
Well,
in
no,
place.
get the insurance. That's no problem because I got my insurance for my roofing business. That part is not a problem. What concerns me is to make sure that I'm pricing it.
That you're what?
I'm pricing it correctly.
Yeah, the only way you're going to price it correctly at the level that you are right now is not by somebody telling you what the pricing is virtually. You have to have somebody who's experienced in the industry, ideally go down, give you a quote, and you can tack on your 15, 20, or 30% on the top, quote it out and get your deal done. That's one way, or taking a commission off the top line of what they quote the client. That's the two ways that I would go.
When you say taking a commission, let's say you mentioned before a 50% margin. Out of that 50%, how much should I get?
On top line, Matt Phillips and others on here, I know that 10% to 15% is something that's very easily achieved off top line.
Hey, Judd, I don't know if you can hear me or not. I'm driving, sorry.
Yeah, we can hear you well.
So yeah, on a 200,000 square foot job, if this is your first job that you're doing, I would definitely hand it off to another seal coater and take a referral, a commission off of it, 10% or 15%. I don't think any contractor is gonna say, hey, let me split the profit with you. So if you're, mean, not on this first one, but I'm just saying. So for me, I mean, my crew, we did, like Judd mentioned, we did over $1 million this last year. But I also subbed out a lot of work that I subbed out, and I was just taking in a partial, the 10% or whatever my markup is on it. And if you could bid out a job and get a 50% or 40% commission on top of that, and the customer is still willing and able to do that, then that more power to you. But the contractor, if you sub out to a contractor and that contractor does crappy work and you run it through your company and you get the full payment and they have an issue, you're on the hook for that repair. So that's why when you're first meeting somebody or starting out a relationship, hand it over to them, introduce them to them, and take a commission off of it. Because until you understand what that contractor, their quality of work or how they perform, you don't want to be running it through your company and get stung with having to do a repair or a cleanup because they spray seal coat all over, or they just put sand and gravel in the potholes or anything like that. So I think to begin with, do that way, just so you don't get burned. That would be my recommendation.
Thank you for the
advice. I don't know, Judd, if you can hear me or not.
Loud and clear.
Okay. I completely disagree with what he said. If you're going to do a quality job, you are responsible for it. And I've been in this for a little over a year, and I've just got off a 6.3 mile job. I just got off freaking $350,000 job, and I just got into this. I feel like if you're going to do the job, you freaking stand behind it, and you are responsible for it. I have the insurance. I have that. You do a quality job. Don't sub it out. I mean, hell, I can go sub out everything I want, a pool guy, whatever. But man, you need to be the guy responsible. I want one person, when I have anybody do a job, a builder or anything, I want them to be freaking responsible. I don't want a subcontractor. I want to be, and so Asphalt Kingdom, I want to represent them. So I want them to know that I'm doing a quality job. I'm not freaking passing it off to somebody else. Asphalt King, I answered Asphalt Kingdom. And so I want to represent them well. And I'm going to represent them well by doing a good job. If I screw up, yeah, it's my responsibility to do it. I'm sorry. That's just my, I'm sorry.
Just trying,
Judd, I'm sorry.
why don't, you know what? I think if you're saying sorry, that's fine, but let's all say that, guys, we're not here to put pixie dust and cupcakes all over the place here. We're here to grow and work together to achieve that. So don't apologize for anything.
I agree. I agree 100%.
But what I will say, what I will say to you, Jared, is this, is that there are situations and scenarios where you should not self-perform your own projects. And if you, let me know if I misunderstood you. Are you saying that if you're going to sell something, you should sell and complete the work on your own with your own labor and your own team and your own equipment?
In a way, but also if you're going to subcontract it out, you should be the person responsible for it.
So there's a couple things I think. First and foremost is, you don't want to be bullshitting anyone. Number one, you want to be setting very, very clear expectations. So
yes.
an example would be, hey, I'm not the guy to do this project, but the good news is I have somebody who has been in the industry for 25 years that I really trust to do this project. I'm going to connect the dots there, and I'm going to make that introduction, and you guys can take it away from that point. And I'll tell you, like, I've made a lot of money on introductions, and I've made a lot of money subcontracting, and I've made a lot of money self-performing on all angles. And so I think what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're communicating on the forefront really, really clear on exactly what it is without having any bullshit attached to it. Because that's where things get really sloppy, is where the client says, I thought you were going to be the one doing it. Now somebody else is doing it. And now you guys have some kind of a sleazy deal behind the scenes. We don't want that to happen, obviously, right?
I completely agree with that, Judd. I'm not arguing that point at all. What I'm saying is, I don't want to hire some contractor that you don't know about, you don't know anything about.
For sure.
I'm doing this. I just got into this just for something to do because I'm retired. I'm sorry, guys. I've made millions of dollars in my other businesses. So I'm familiar with how things work. But you've got to be responsible for your subcontractors.
You sold your first business, or you mentioned you retired?
Yes, sir.
You sold it? You sold your first business?
No, I have several other businesses that I built up and sold off. I'm doing this for entertainment, basically, but I'm moving a lot of product and we're covering a lot of ground just for something to do.
He was retired. He was retired is what he's saying.
Yeah, thanks, Judd.
But asphalt.
Hey, Judd.
Yeah.
I blame Glenn and Mackie.
Right. And listen, Jared, we're listening, like, your name keeps coming up time and time again. He's like, boss, I think we're going to need to get some more sealer lined up. But like, it's awesome because the fact that you've come out of retirement to come do this, and now you're doing 6 miles of seal. I mean, it's just wild, right?
We've got a 12-mile contract we have to get done before the end of the year.
It's awesome, man. I love it. And I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate your business.
No,
appreciate
Judd,
your input.
you and I are going to meet face to face. I would love to come to the Caribbean, but I'm sorry, I was working.
And what are you working? What state are you working in?
Texas.
Texas.
Yes, sir.
Texas is rocking, man.
We're down by San Antonio. I'm 40 miles outside of San Antonio.
Okay, I'm in East Texas.
Where at?
Tyler.
Okay, yeah. Awesome.
Connect the dots, guys. Connect the information right here.
Okay.
Get Zach's email on his screen, Jared.
I've probably got to leave here in a second, Judd, but I've got a question for all y'all.
Yeah.
And that's Texan right there, all y'all. But I wonder, and you guys have probably talked about this in my first roundtable, and I'm sorry for talking too much. The guys, the gentleman from Utah who works 6 months out of the year, what if he sent his crew down to Texas during the winter and they could make bank down here?
Uh-oh.
I'm just
Matt wants to
saying.
travel. Matt's traveling all winter,
Come
man. He's
on.
taking a holiday. He's coming down drinking pina coladas, right, Matt?
Yeah, I'm just thinking for cash flow for the guys up north, why not? Because I moved from Kansas, Northwest Kansas, 4 years ago. But why not keep your business available 10 months out of the year?
That's actually an excellent question because up here in Tennessee, once it got cold and everything like snapped bad, plus we had that hurricane that came through, so that didn't help nothing at all. But what are the legalities just to make sure everything stays legal if I decided to go somewhere like Florida or Texas in the wintertime just to keep things going year round instead of trying to make patchwork work up this way?
That's a great question. Texas is a free will state to work, so licensing is not necessary. You have to have your insurance and a COI, certificate of insurance, for that state, which takes about 6 hours, honestly, to get. So, I mean, it's transferable, or you could come and work with an Asphalt Kingdom company compliant, which would be Judd, and or Mike, whoever else is in Texas that's an Asphalt Kingdom compliant, they would say, okay, you're covered under them. Oh, sorry, Judd, I didn't mean to step on time.
You're good, brother.
Because a
I
big
love it,
problem
man.
that we have up in my area is people that come out of state but aren't doing it the right way. A lot of like fly by night people, and the last thing that I want to do is cross state lines and then be like, oh, he's got a Tennessee state plate. He must be one of them crooks or whatever.
So let me tell you a quick story. So when I started this whole thing, that's a whole nother story that we're not going to waste time on right now. But I actually had to get a phone because we moved from Kansas down here. Wasn't getting a lot of calls because like, just like all of us, they're like, oh, well, I don't recognize that area code. And so they just don't answer. So I actually got a phone from our area code and locale. And and I just forwarded it to my actual phone. But that worked well. But the word of mouth down here has just, sorry, Judd, but my quality work is, I'm sorry, pristine. And I don't mean that arrogantly, but I mean, it is, I'll send you pictures. It is absolutely pristine. If there's any glitch, the next day we are there fixing.
Same.
That's really the, if everyone operated as a premier tiered company, from a marketing, from a sales and an ops perspective, and you understood your numbers, you're going to get a lot of business and you're going to eat market share. That's the bottom line.
Oh, we're killing it down here.
Right. That's the question, right? Is like, are we willing to put in the work that's needed in order to achieve that? Or do we stay alone trying to figure this out? And it's precisely what I continue to try to push everyone to do is let's keep leveling up, man. It's why you guys are here on the roundtable. But what is the next action that we're taking to level up?
Yeah, that's what I need to do because I've continuously, for the last 3 years, steadily improved and increased my clientele for sure, landing a $260,000 job, commercial wise,
there we go.
Towards the end of this year that I couldn't finish because the hurricane came through. So that really like nipped me in the bud. But
It's
where yeah, but where I know that I fall short isn't my work ethic or ability to get out and grind. It's the technical aspect of like keeping track of like where the trending is and having a platform program to keep track of everything. Right now, I just keep track of everything like within my phone contacts with a lot of detailed notes on each contact and how much square footage each job was, so on and so forth. So that's what
Why
I
are you
need
not
to
on
improve
Dash,
on.
bro? Why are you
Yeah,
not on AK Dash?
yeah, yeah.
No, like
I've seen
legitimately, like
that a couple times that I
get
haven't
on
dove into it.
get on Dash, guys. Like boss level on Dash is $50 a month. It's like, $50 a month. We can't go and eat a steak and have a drink somewhere for $50. You know what I mean? It's like, are we willing to invest into the business? I watch a lot of us make the mistake of not investing into the processes and systems that we need in order to have the true backbone to plug people into and to build a business that's going to have enterprise value. It's a big, big challenge. It's a big challenge. If we're just like operating from a phone or a Google sheet and those kind of things, it's fine, but who's going to want to buy that company down the line? And you should always be building your company to sell it.
Yeah,
Judd,
agreed.
would you agree with this, Judd? And let me ask you, if you do, let's say, a 10,000 square foot job, and you do a quality job, I mean, edging, everything, and whether it's the neighbors or it's the church next door or whatever, they see that and they know that. You absolutely freaking make sure every person around there has your business card or have a sign in the yard or whatever. You have got to let people know this is the job that I do. This is the quality of work I do, and you got to represent it. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
hot spot,
totally.
man.
I mean, I did a driveway. That's how this whole thing freaking started. And now we're doing 6.3 miles. We've got another job that's 2.5 miles. We're doing this,
Yeah.
and I'm retired.
And
Judd, I blame you. I blame you.
Just so everybody knows as well, I know what he's saying is true because he buys the materials from us. So we know how much he's going through. So just so everyone knows, Jared's 100% telling a true story about coming out of retirement, and now he's blaming me for getting back into asphalt. But it's there for us to go get, right? It's right there for us.
How
When
long
you
have you
say-
been unretired?
And the biggest thing is do it with a smile and be pleasant with people. Be good to people.
Sir, what's your name? You have iPad on the bottom. What's your name?
Tom.
Tom, what's happening? Tom, you had a question for Jared?
Yeah, how long have you been unretired? Or how long have you been in business in Texas?
Well, I've been retired 5 years. And that, Judd, do I have a second to tell the story?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Okay, so I live in an HOA and I became the first president of this HOA. Ugh. But anyway, so since we're a gated community, we're responsible for our roads. And so we got some quotes for just crack sealing. Cheapest quote we got was $120,000. And we had no reserve money at all because the developer took it all when he left. So I'm like, you know what? Heck with this. I'll buy my own crack sealing machine, which I did, Asphalt Kingdom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'll buy a pallet of bricks and my own asphalt machine, crack sealing machine. So I did that. Did all the crack sealing up here. And about a year later, people are saying, well, maybe the asphalt needs sealed. Crap. So I bought an Airboss 300, which, Judd, you got to see the adjustments I've made on that, buddy. I've got a 13-foot spray boom on it now. But anyway, you guys didn't hear that. That's between Judd and me. But so I bought my own Airboss 300, and my wife, I've done several businesses and built them up and whatever. And my wife is like, oh, Jared, I know where this is going. And I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, you don't do anything halfway. So now I just thought I would do the neighborhood. Yeah, that's not the case. And this rolls back to where I'm saying, do a flipping quality job. I don't care if it's a 10-foot driveway. If you do a quality job, people will notice that because they might have a fly-by-night company come and do their driveway. And 5 years later, theirs is gone and Asphalt Kingdom's is sitting there. That's how it rolls. You've got to do a quality job I mean, y'all have bought quality things and not quality things, and which lasts longer.
Yep.
So you've got to do a good job, and we have a quality product with Asphalt Kingdom. And trust me, I'm not a plant. I don't work for Asphalt Kingdom. I pay them more money than I care to, but I do. But
We appreciate it. We get to do things like this, Jared. We get to pay it forward.
yeah, I'm just joking with you. You know,
I'm having fun.
but I'm sorry I didn't mean to dominate this conversation. This is my first round table because I'm usually busy.
No, man, we appreciate it. Yeah,
I'm sorry if I'm saying anything out of line, but I'm not saying anything out of line because this is my experience.
Definitely love the info.
So
it's
I
fresh
guess.
too. Like I remember the conversation going back to when Jared, you're just getting things going, and it's like it's not long ago at all. But I'm looking forward to seeing what 2025 has in store. That's for sure, man. Send me some pictures, please.
Jared,
yeah.
quick
You
question.
have no idea.
So
Yes,
you
sir.
said you live in a gated community, correct?
Yes, sir.
So one of my problems is whenever I knew that I needed to upgrade, which I went ahead and made a rig on the back of a trailer to go hand in hand with the rig on the back of my truck. I live at the dead end of a cul-de-sac, and I want to end up getting like a 300 or a 570 or something bigger, but I've got nowhere to store it. Do you just end up storing it at a local store it yourself kind of facility, or like how do you grow when you've got no personal land to store it on kind of thing?
Okay, and that's a great question. Do you live in an HOA?
No, I do not.
Okay, so then do you have enough room to park a trailer?
No, the only room that I've even got to park the trailer that I have is across the street at a road that was supposed to have been finished that they didn't end up finishing.
Sure.
Okay, well, there's several options here. If you go ahead and decide to get a rental unit, that is actually tax deductible because it's a business expense.
Oh, I didn't even
Absolutely.
think about that.
Yeah.
So, but if you get an Airbus 300 or 575 or whatever you do, and you're in Tennessee, I'm sorry, I didn't remember.
That's
Where do
correct. Tennessee.
Okay, does it freeze there?
Yes.
Okay, so one thing you need to do is winterize your unit when you get a unit, winterize it. And there's a couple ways to do this, and Judd probably has a better way or different ways than I do. But I do down here where I'm at, it freezes and storage units are cold, but I have a huge shop. But anyway, do like a 10% antifreeze with water or degreaser, and you'll be fine. That's been my experience. Judd would have better knowledge on that for certain. But
yeah, we can share all that information. We have winterizing manuals and so on, so no issue.
yeah, but
Awesome.
I mean, but you got to keep in mind everything you do is a business expense. If you go get a haircut to make you look prettier for a clientele, that is tax. That I don't do that, but I'm just saying your fuel is absolutely deductible. I mean,
Rent, phones, mileage in your vehicles, lease
Yes, sir.
payments, all of that stuff, man.
I just
What are
learned
we
last
talking-
week you
what
can
are we
write
doing
off
for
all
miles
your
now,
marketing.
Jim? 47 cents a mile?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Judd, I just learned last week you can write off all your marketing expenses. You hire an
All your
agency, if
marketing.
you wrap your vehicle, your SEO, your Google pay-per-clicks, everything can be written off as a business expense.
So one of the things that we have a very hard time here doing as people growing businesses is, a lot of the time we don't know how to read a P&L. We don't understand how to read a balance sheet and what cash flow looks like. And a lot of the time we don't know how to create a budget. And so right now it's budget time, guys. We're going into 2025 right here. And so, a budget is basically laying out what your yellow brick road looks like for your year ahead. And so, as a building in a storage facility where you're going to store your rig, and have your costs associated with that, building that out, setting a budget, and then sitting down with somebody that actually understands the financial vertical of a company, and getting an hour or two with someone like that is probably pretty important to everyone on here. A lot of people skip that, and you know, what's a couple of hours for you guys to sit down with a professional to set up a proper budget for your company? I mean, everyone should be doing that. Everyone should have books. And the reason why is we're not here, like, raise your hand if you want to make real money and build enterprise value with your company. Genuinely. I think we all do, right? And it's not, you know, it's always fun in this business to have, you know, wads of cash that are filling both of your dirty jean pockets. I've been there year in and year out. It's awesome to have all that cash, but the reality of it is, you know, if we're building a real business with real enterprise value, we want to build something of significance that's going to have a multiplier on the EBITDA that we're going to sell down the line, then we have to build this thing right. So I would just say, get a budget put together as the end and have that built into it. Do a plan A, plan B, and plan C. What I always push people to do is, I say, if your plan A is where you are right now, your plan B is, I want to grow by 20%. And then your plan C is, I want to grow by 50%, right? And by the way, it's very easy to grow 100% year over year in this industry if you're doing the right things, just to be clear, especially when you're in the smaller startup years. And so what I would like to say to you is, what is it costing you to not go with plan C? Once you look at all your costs, don't look at them as costs, look at them as investments so that you can hunt the bigger numbers and achieve a better life for yourself, right? And it's like a lot of the time we corner ourselves into that little hamster wheel of, like, I just want to be safe and comfortable. And I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, beep, that I've got a certain amount of time left in my life. I want to leave legacy behind and have a bunch of money to go on vacations and do the things that I love to do in my life, period.
Yeah. And that's, how do I put this briefly? Like I said, the work ethic is not the problem. It's knowing the experience or having access to the experience from you guys that would really benefit me in the areas that I'm weak against, as far as like how to plan for that BC type of mentality, how to source people that would be willing to actually go out and do a good job as a crew member that's not going to mar your name, kind of thing, if you trust them with a rig to go out and do one unit while you're doing another. Those are all things that I'm struggling with right now.
Brother, we're here for you. Our business is designed to help people. Obviously, we have to monetize in areas, you know, but like, the reality of it is, a board of directors for my company cost me $45,000 a year for 3 meetings in Austin, Texas.
Dang.
45 grand, guys. 45 grand. That's 3 days of a board of directors with badass human beings that have built multi 8-figure and 9-figure companies who are sitting down as pillars of strength. And I sit down for a day, or our CEO does. Amy sits down for a day with all of those business owners, and Keith Cunningham, who wrote the book A Road Less Stupid. For those of you that have not read it, please do read it. A Road Less Stupid, Keith Cunningham. It's one of the most brilliant books ever. But that's what our investment is. But I'm going for it, man. I'm going for it. Not recklessly. I'm going for it though. And so if you need help, don't be afraid to reach out to get the help, and then have a custom tailored solution that's going to allow you to get to where you want to go.
Because I'm admittedly guilty of the whole making the money through the summer, having the big pockets, and then not properly planning, because I put all my eggs in the basket of that big job and planned every job around that to where all I had to do was focus on that for the winter. That was going to set me up nicely and then have me ready for spring. And then where that fell through. So.
Yep. Yeah, no, man, we've all been there, and some of us are still there. Some of us are still there, right? Are we willing to break out? Okay, we've got some questions on here. I see we've got some AI things saying that we're quiet in here. I don't think we've been quiet at all. There's a question: what are some of the tips and advice on moving from the assessment and quote to getting the win? Yes, pavement assessment in your deal pipeline in that stage to move it to a quote, you really need to be able to provide them with enough value, speaking about the safety, the life cycle stage, drainage effectiveness, and really how the ADA compliancy stuff's going on in the lot, and truly give them something that is filled with photos, a video walkthrough, and go above and beyond that differentiates from other companies. And when you do that, that is what we call a soft sell. It's nurturing the relationship. It's helping somebody understand that you're not there to shove pricing down their throat. And what you're doing, your intent is to bring things to the surface that can be discussed as an open opportunity for you then to answer their question, which is, well, what can we do about getting this solved? And all of a sudden you then move into the quote stage. So the goal is to deliver information that raises questions that they speak open-endedly about, and then you identify their pain points, you overview their pain, and then you move into the quote stage of course, selling them the vacation, explaining away their concerns, and then reinforcing the decisions. For those of you that know the closer framework that's there, but hopefully that helps. If you want to know more about the pavement assessment to proposal conversion, you're going to want to, so I'm going to mute here, got some background. If you want to know more about, I did a video, 5-step close process. If you'd like that, you can see my email on the screen here. Feel free to shoot me an email and I'll send you the video for the 5-step close process, including pavement assessment to proposal conversion. Now let's move on to the next question. Here we go. What suggestions do we have for someone in Alberta in the north in the cold, trying to start coming summer? What suggestions would I have? And I'm going to give you my, and feel free anybody to pop in, but my suggestion to you is make sure you understand what your year plan looks like that you're going to be executing on, and don't just shoot from the hip. I would say let's make sure that you have a yellow brick road to navigate from day one. And that doesn't mean, by the way, in Alberta, like when weather starts to break and you're going to be out to go and hit the pavement in May, it doesn't mean that you haven't already secured a bunch of jobs as you're going through the tail end of Q1. You should be securing jobs all through Q1 and rocking into Q2 with a pipeline that's filled. I would get proper coaching up front from someone who's been there and done that. You know, we have somebody that's actually built a business in Alberta who's a really cool cat. So I would reach out to our team or reach out to somebody locally out there and just get some really good advice on the forward. On the forward. Somebody was sharing their screen. All good. Jared, was that you?
I didn't touch anything.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I would do, is get the proper coaching up front to get off on the right ball. Make sure you have your marketing set up, your sales strategy set up, revenue roadmap. I'm trying to condense this in a couple minutes, but realistically, let's get on a discovery call and figure out what the right path is there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thank you. I will book that discovery call. Thank you.
Cool. Welcome. And then Zach, you're asking for Jared's number. Jared, can you type it in the chat down below so that everybody's calling you tomorrow all day long?
Well, sure. As soon as I figure that out.
Down at the very bottom, you'll see there's a little chat. It says chat down there. The assessment is not, Parker, the assessment is not in the boss package. It is in the, oh geez, I don't want to speak out of term. I think it's only in the big boss and king boss level.
Okay.
However, if you did want to experience it, of course, we can open up a trial on it and just make sure you can see it, feel it, touch it, and learn about it. Dylan Malone can show you under the hood for the assessments and make sure you understand it well. It's a very important piece. I know, Dom, on your side with ProSeal, you and Scott, like that whole business, the pavement assessment has been massive for you guys this year, right, brother? We can't hear you, but that's okay. We can't hear you, but you look good. You look good. But yeah, pavement, like we don't just preach it, we practice it. Companies who are multi-8-figure companies, companies that are 7-figure companies, people are growing 100% year over year and more are using it. It's a very, very important icebreaker. And it's also important to log that data inside of a system to have that historical information as well, right?
Hey, Judd, I wanted to throw out too. So I've been doing this for a long time and have just signed up with the King Boss. So it's something that I saw value in a year or two ago, and a year ago anyway. And so we're going to be changing over. That's my winter plan for changing my database over to that. So I think there's value. As far as the assessments, I haven't used that tool, but that's how I get business for my upcoming season. So on my off seasons, do assessments, and the assessment can be, I think the one guy was asking about how deep a pothole has to be, 1 inch or 1/4 inch or whatever the case may be. The key is to just go in and say, hey, there's a trip hazard we see. This is something we can take care of. Here's my card or here's my brochure. We'd love to give you a full on parking lot assessment and pricing for the spring. So that's one of my sales techniques.
Thanks, brother. All right, Stephen, you have a question. Are you cool? Just give me a thumbs up if you're cool if I just read your question out loud. Yeah, so, all right, cool.
I've got
Hey,
one
Judd,
more though, Judd.
Yeah, no problem. So I'll do the first one here. After meeting to give an assessment and quote, owners and managers are busy people. How do you balance follow-up to not nagging? I love that, man. Like in sales, nagging. Oof, that's a rough word, man. You never want to be a nag. The question is, what are we actually following up with? If we say we're following up, then that's a follow-up that you never want to do. Following up is nagging, right? So let's change our mindset from follow-up to delivering value or dropping them something that is unique and different from an email follow-up or a call that's just, hey, following up. Hopefully we can get their text, their SMS number, and we can shoot them a little quick video of us. I was just thinking about you, man. I was driving by the area, drove by. I was there with my wife, driving by, thinking about it, and I'd love to connect with you. Let me know if there's anything I can help you with. Any questions you have, just know I'm here for you. And just keep that drumbeat going. Remember, in 2024 and 2025, it's taking 14 touch points in order to convert a deal. It doesn't mean that it's a phone call, but it's a variety of different things. So I would just say, if you are thinking that your follow-up is nagging, don't do it.
One of the things I've done, can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
One of the things I did was there was an article back from October that discussed the benefits of having a good looking parking lot. And so I forwarded that to a couple of folks I've, communicated with. And so that was a good touch point, I think. But what are some of these other touch points? You had mentioned 14. What are some other ways that you touch that proposal?
Yeah, I mean, I would literally, if it's weather, if there's some kind of, if there's some kind of a rainstorm that happens during that period, if there's something going on in the markets, if there's something relating to a news, something in the press that has come out, we have to use the things that are going on to create reason behind why we're actually connecting, not just hey, I'm following up on that quote. There has to be more substance to that. So, when I think of cadences, I think of email, phone, text. Video is very powerful. Audio is very powerful. Does a person prefer to be communicated with on text message or email? Have we asked them that question? A lot of the time we don't ask them that simple question. What's your preferred communication channel that you'd like to communicate regarding getting things moved forward for the pavement to keep it safe, long lasting, and looking great, right? What is that? So I wouldn't say it's necessarily an exact 14 touch point cadence. It really comes out of your discovery as part of clarifying why somebody is there or clarifying why you're there. Then once you've labeled them with a problem, then you have that problem and pain point. If we know that everything's to do with safety because you're dealing with a school district, then we know that it's very different than a car dealership. That's the one that Dom Manzo went to go do an exotic car dealership in Utah. It's very different than safety. So I would just craft your approaches, but do not catch yourself looking in the mirror and saying, should I follow up here? I think that I'm nagging. Don't do it. Adjust, pivot, and do something more strategic.
Gotcha. Excellent.
Does that answer pretty much that question?
Yes, sir. Good advice.
And I would say during Christmas time right now, don't beat yourselves up if people aren't converting right now, but year end is here, right? So just remember there's some good opportunities to close some deals right now. But don't beat yourself up if people are not converting. Just continue to build those relationships. Do not stop communicating with people that you've invested time into that have become what I call a sales qualified lead. Do not stop if they're really truly a customer that you want to have for life. Wish them happy holidays, write them a card, drop them off some donuts and coffee or something, or drop them off a fruit basket.
That comes from experience, I can tell.
Hey, Judd.
Who
you hear
doesn't
me?
love donuts?
Go for it, Jared.
Hey, sorry to bother you. Guys, I'm kind of technologically illiterate. My wife takes care of a lot of my stuff. Can I give my phone number out over this or not?
Yeah, for sure.
If anybody wants to talk to me, my number is 785-332-0124.
Thank you.
Sorry. Not that I have anything to say or to add. Judd pretty much covers it all. And
What
Judd,
was your
what
name again?
you said about being over Christmas, and don't lose your focus about what your goal is, because Christmas is a super opportunity to talk to churches, talk to schools when you go pick your kid up on getting ready for break. I mean, there's always opportunities, and it doesn't take anything to just put your name out there, throw a business card out there, say, hey, I can do this. And that's how I've gotten big church jobs. I've got HOA jobs. I've got all these things just because of that one stupid card I left at a Japanese restaurant. They're like, hey, can you do our parking? Heck yeah. And it's not being aggressive, but it's also saying, hey, I'm available, and let me show you. If you contact me, I can show you my body of work. And if you're just getting started, hey, nasty good, are you sleeping? He's up there, right up there. I think he's sleeping.
No,
he's had a long he's had a long day, or he's looking at his phone or something, right?
Yeah, but anyway, the opportunity to be kind to people, and just be kind to people, and you don't push it on them. You just mention it. Hey, you know what? I noticed your parking lot. If you ever need somebody to do the parking lot, if you need somebody to do your driveway, if you need anything, hey, give me a call, give me a shot, or I can show you what I can do. Sorry, Judd, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm taking over.
Just so you know, so from now on, Jared is 100% running these roundtables on the go.
No, Judd, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Jared. You freed me. My wife's gonna be so happy, brother.
So sorry,
awesome.
Judd.
No, you're absolutely awesome, man. We appreciate the value and all these value bombs, man. They're super important, and I will say we have to share.
Here's the thing, guys. We're not building rockets here. We want to do quality work, and we want to do it right, and we have a quality product and quality support. That's, by the way, I love Glenn. I absolutely love awesome. Glenn. Yeah,
he's great.
But no, you've got to believe in what you're doing. And I've seen out down here, CLS is the name of the company that does it, and they're getting mad at me because Oh, I'm taking some of their jobs because of the quality work. And then, like he was saying, a Christmas card, send a Christmas card, a check-in after a month. Hey, you happy with it? Is it looking good? 99% of the time, people are going to say, oh man, I've talked to my neighbor and my neighbor's jealous because our driveway looks so awesome. And now they want you to do theirs. I just ran into that situation 2 days ago. Hey, you just did this huge job that our neighbor's going up to a business. And here's what I did, Judd. I did it for free. Because you know what? They needed it. They wanted it. Now, what is that going to do? How many people do you think they're going to talk to? Because it was 2,500 square feet. No big deal. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to say, holy crap, you got to talk to this guy. It's just little things like that. That's how you got to be. I don't need to be doing this, but I love doing it. And if it wasn't Asphalt Kingdom, I wouldn't be doing it. I'm sorry. I'm not a salesman for him or anything, but the support, like he's been talking about, hey, you got to get on this. You got to get on this. That support is huge. I sound like a plant for you, Judd.
No, man, I love it. Listen, we love this shit. This is what we stand for, man. It's like, hey, listen, if we're able to build a business around serving all of you guys to have you come back and to be the referrals and references and to help be evangelists for our company, then we're doing something right. And I hope that you guys can go do that for your customers, man, because that's how you build a real business. That's how you build enterprise value. That's how you can have fun with your business, is when you build customers that are raving fans of yours. And that's the shit, guys. That's the real deal. And so, Jared, no, it's awesome, man. I appreciate you, bro. It's like, that's what we live for. We love this. We're passionate. And it doesn't happen by selling equipment and supplies. It happens by action.
I'll leave it on this. I started a hunting lodge on a corporate farm. I started at $7 an hour when my wife and I met 23 years ago. And we just had it in our heart that we're going to do something. And we built up a catering company, sold to Kansas City Barbecue, built up a hunting lodge. This is not my first rodeo. I'm retired, but I'm doing this, and I got tied up with a company that is passionate about what they do. And you can see that if this company sucked, I've dealt with a ton of companies that suck. So I know what quality is. So it's not just, this isn't my first rodeo. This is my first company I've dealt with. These guys back you. Mackie called me about an order. Mackie has nothing to do with the orders. But she's like, hey, Jared, I'm just checking on this order, making sure this thing's working, this is going through. And Glenn, he's like, no, we're going to prioritize this. I mean, it's just, I make a phone call and they're there. And that's a huge part of what we do, because any of y'all say, hey, I need a 55-gallon drum of sealer. You talk to Glenn, Judd, whoever you talk to, Mackie, they'll be like, we're going to prioritize this. So we're going to get it to you when you need it. I mean, I just had 4 totes. I got the email about the totes being delivered 2 days after they were already here. Because Glenn called the company and said, get that
in there.
Shit there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be out, guys. Judd, nice seeing you.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Everybody else, if you have any questions, call Judd.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, you guys take care. I'm out.
Cool. Later. And we're gonna send Jared a big lighthouse that he's gonna have to autograph for us, man. That's for sure. Yeah. Let's get on that. Unit 10, you got that? You took that note down? We got to send a lighthouse over there. Yeah, cool. And I know you were not sleeping, Unit 10, by the way. I know you were looking at your phone because your phone's buzzing away there. I know. Jared thought you were sleeping over there.
No problem, my friend.
Cool. Hey guys, all right, listen, we are way over time, but that's totally cool. Everybody get some value out of tonight. Couple, one or two takeaways, good takeaways. Yeah. All right. Fantastic. Just as a side note too, there was one question that I believe I did not answer. It came from Dylan Bowers on here, and it said, is there a database that we can input addresses and get the credentials of the landowners? Yeah, there's all kinds of solutions out there. There's Apollo.io, there's Phantom Busters and those kind of things. And then we also are doing prospecting in AK Dash now, where we can load your AK Dash with prospects. If you do want more information relating to prospects that we can load in there for you to execute on some calls and start to communicate with people to get your pipelines filled up, please reach out to Dylan Malone. That's DYLAN, Dylan at asphaltkingdom.com, and he'll be happy to help there. And of course, he's there also to provide any demos for AK Dash, anything you need inside relating to assessments that we discussed earlier. I want to thank every single person for showing up here today. For actually, it's one of the first steps in the next steps of growth is actually just showing up and then, you know, taking some gold nuggets from that and running with them. So I appreciate you guys putting the time, investing in yourselves and as the community. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Same time, same place, right here on the AK Roundtable, and I will be announcing something on next week's Roundtable that you probably don't want to miss. And it's one of our core values is pay it forward. So don't miss next week, next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Thanks for tuning in, guys.